Hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there. Hi there, how's it going? Good to see you as always. Well, let me tell you something. I got a new story for you. And this new story is about David and Goliath. And David conquering the chances and taking fear and putting it into the trash can, dunking in the three-pointer right there into the trash can and saying that I can do this, and wins the battle against who? Goliath. And this is how I roll. I write down notes and I try to improvise the story out of the tiny bits of breadcrumbs I leave behind for myself for the future. And my friend was like, "Can I read it?" And I was like, "This is for me, actually. I don't think you'd be able to make a compelling narrative or a story even out of this." And he was like, "But I want to see how the bread is being made." And I was like, "Sure, read it." And he read it and he said, "Whoa, you should use this as the hook for your story." So let me read this whole thing out loud for you that we're about to talk about. All right. So my note in the phone starts now. Why do authorities have clown policies? The kindest security guard comes up to me, asks me to put away my camera. My phone storage is full, my friend's battery's dead. Versus document everything. The Cannes Film Festival. Secondhand capture with an iPhone. Secretly, Akim said, "You are pirating real life." It's funny. Versus life is my studio. Concrete seats at an open venue, a recording booth for us. Versus Billie Eilish at home in LA. The distribution is power. Bring your arts to the platform, aka bring it all. It doesn't hurt the truth to question the truth. Versus minorities make change happen. Representatives, do they represent? Can you really represent a country? Egalitarian society supports representing yourself. Does the genius leave breadcrumbs behind? They leave a whole spaceship behind. Long live Elton John. Cool. So that's my little, standpoint. That's my little nugget of memory from the past that makes me remember that you can always make jokes and you can always make, funny situations happen should you want to, even in front of people who are presumably scary, presumably not even nice. So yeah, which brings us to the question of authority. What is authority? That is a question worth pondering. That is a question worth asking, I believe. What is authority? I think authority is something that is currently in a position of what? High status, and currently in a position of perceived power. Okay? High status and perceived power. And that's what authority means to me. And so my question is, how come and why do authorities have clown policies? This one has a story behind it. So I met this wonderful gentleman, who I will not name in this video. I will refer to him as the gentleman. And this gentleman has been, gifted with the opportunities to share his own and, his team's collective creativity together on multiple platforms. And these platforms, what do these platforms do? These platforms provide him with the opportunity to amplify and potentially, create even more awesome experiences for who? For the audience, and I believe for himself as well. So yeah, I like to think that this gentleman, who I'm making this video for actually, is a creative genius. and someone who really likes performing. And he's also, a really good artist with respect to the art form of improvised creativity, improvised jazz, improvised singing, improvised theater, right? So what's happening? What's happening was that I go to see this gentleman, the creative genius, this week on multiple occasions, and as a matter of fact, on 2 occasions. Once in a theater and once in a concert. So, we have known each other for a while. We have, building a great relationship, I believe. And, I'm like pretty confident that this gentleman is here to amaze. So whatever he does, I think turns to gold. I'm kidding, of course, right? This doesn't turn to gold, it turns to titanium first and then gold. Yeah. But you get the point, right? So it's just like, I think he's a creative genius, subjectively speaking. Some people don't like his shows, some people don't like his singing, but I'm like, yo, I like it. I'm the kind of guy who's this whole creative act is for. Why? Because I'm part of the audience. And I'd like to think that the creative act serves, the creator and at the same time, potentially, the audience that is willing to open up and receive the creativity coming from the artist. Yes, so I'm going to talk about a concert. At the concert, I'm expecting this gentleman, again, to fully improvise songs on the spot. And I'm like, this is gonna be one of the most amazing events this year. Therefore, I should make a video. Therefore, I should record this so that I can share it with who? My friends. So that I can share it with who? Fast forward to Steven Spielberg. So Steven Spielberg had this fantastic movie called Ready Player One. In Ready Player One, there is this imagined future of humanity where there is this game creator who actually documents his whole entire life. And you can literally observe him in the ways he's creating the game, in the ways he's creating everything, the music, right? And I think Ready Player One is a great movie, and it sure did inspire a lot of young people, including me. Why is that? Because I am fully in the belief that this could be a great choice for a creator to document the behind the scenes, the creation, and the aftermath of the whole process. And I think that is just perfect. That is what I subscribe to. I'm curious to learn what your process is like. I'm curious to learn what your creativity is about. I'm curious to learn how this will play out. I'm curious to learn about your, the people who play with your games, the people who listen to your songs. Absolutely. Let's create a community around these curious people so that they can do what? So that they can be historians together who read the biography that is unfolding in front of their very own eyes in the format of a video or perhaps a holographic message. And I'm like, whoa, that is the future. That is something I want. And that is something I'm also willing to make. Therefore, I make these video diary entrances so that I can do what? So that I can, entertain my friends and at the same time communicate with, my future relatives, my future family members who may not know me personally. As a matter of fact, they may be decades, centuries away from this current present moment. And at the same time, they could use this message I look back at it as a form of historian who's willing to entertain and educate themselves on what happened in their own family history. Or as another form, this is meant to be a public message. So another form, whoever is willing to come on board to, get a little conversation going, then this is meant for you as well. I'm happy that you're taking the time. I'm happy that you are actually engaging with the message I'm hoping to convey and create for who? For you. And yeah. So what's my point here? My point is that I am... So what is my point here? My point is that, this is gonna be, literally a fantastic, legendary experience I'm about to experience, and I would love to share the great experience with my community in the present and in the future. Therefore, I'm hoping to create, I'm hoping to create and document videos and recordings of the particular event. I sit in the first row at this particular concert venue, and I pull out a tripod which is meant to hold 2 cameras, and I'm starting to put together the tripod and the cameras on top, and then a security guard comes up to me. Let me just make note, this is the kindest security guard I've ever met in my life. He comes up to me and says, I'd like to ask you if that's okay. Where are you gonna be uploading these videos to? And I said, well, I'm hoping to upload the recordings to Instagram. And the security is like, so actually, it's my job to ask you to please put away your equipment because all, the recordings, are only for internal use. So I'm sorry. And in my mind, I'm like, this is a security guard, clearly doesn't mean no harm. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. So he's being, what? A potentially high status character with a potentially, big power or perceived power in his hands. So what do? I, tell him that, perfect. I was meant to put it away. I was gonna put it away 2 hours later, but sure, we can time travel and just put it away right now. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, you understand my point, so just please put it away. And then I tell him that it's like, yeah, oh, no problem, I understand. You're just doing your job. I respect you, so I'll put it away. And thank you for telling me that, and thank you for being nice to me. And then the security guard smiles and says, yeah, thank you so much for being collaborative. And I say, yeah, thank you so much for telling me this. I'm putting it away on the spot, as you can see. So I fold up the tripod and I'm taking away my cameras. So what happens next? You may be wondering. In my mind, I'm an unstoppable force. Therefore, I'm pretty much gonna document this whole thing without the cameras, without the equipment. I'm just gonna use what? My phone! Of course! This is the best! I can use my phone too. They're not gonna ask me to put away my phone. Right? Well, they did not. Spoilers! They never asked anyone to put away their phones. And that's, I think, totally okay. And at the same time, as I was filming the event, my phone storage, which is a limited storage, unfortunately, got full. So I could no longer record videos, and I was like, I don't have money to buy a new phone, I don't have money to buy more storage, what am I gonna do? Ask for my friend's phone, of course. So I asked for my friend's phone to use his phone for recording, and my friend's phone's battery is dead, right? So we cannot use either phone. So what do we do? So what do? Well, I was coming from the office actually to this concert. I didn't have time to go home and put down my stuff. So I naturally had this idea that I'm a problem solver. I can do something in this situation that's gonna be a solution. May not be the best solution, but it is gonna be a solution. So I reach into my bag and take out my laptop, open up the laptop and start voice record. On the laptop, the microphone I think is like, you don't get the best quality microphone on your laptop. At the same time, we're living in the age of artificial intelligence. I'm aware that I can make a sound recording with my laptop of a concert that I can later upload online and ask an artificial intelligence software to just do the mixing, do the sound engineering, and make a quality enhanced, potentially enjoyable listening experience out of all of these recordings. So anticipating this moment in the future, I just took out my laptop, which has pretty much at this point many hours of battery life left and many gigabytes of storage on hand, on board. I was like, yeah, my laptop makes me unstoppable. So I was just really enjoying the moment of victory out here. So what just happened? I believe the venue's organizing team and security guards enforce a kind of policy where you can be, no higher status than the organizers themselves. No higher status than the security guards themselves. Therefore, if they ask you to do something, they want you to comply with what they believe is meant to be the good for everyone. And I was complying, and at the same time, I was like, are they gonna ask me to put away my laptop? I don't think so. I can just straight up tell them that I'm a busy entrepreneur editing videos on my laptop. So I pressed voice record, then I, moved over the screen to iMovie, and I started pretending that I'm editing videos on iMovie. And at the same time, enjoying the heck out of this concert. Fantastic event. Straight up, into 5 minutes in, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. This is the best experience of the current week. And as I told you, these experts, these singers on stage are improvising. So they actually reached out with a proposal to the audience to give them words for a potential song they can create on the spot. And they were like, does anyone have an idea? Maybe a word for us that we can make a song out of? Naturally, nobody raised their hands. So I was like, well, I do have an idea. So I put my hand up and I said, policy.
Policy?
Yes.
Ooh, very civic, very political.
You got it.
Yeah, I like it. Policy. We'll go with the first one.
Got it.
Yeah, we got you got it. And let's go with the next word. We need a word to go with policy.
Yeah.
Anyone? Anyone? A nice word to go with policy. Let's mix it up a little bit. I'm sorry. I love it. I love it. The offer was clowns. So we're gonna go with the song Clown Policy. Bohut's Policy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ismerős.
Clown Policy. The unwritten rules in our book of Clown Policy. Yeah. Every clown tries to appeal to everybody up and down. The clown's dictated by the crowd. The clown's his own persona, but troops, that is. So the clown's determined by the crowd. If you bring a clown into the castle, you don't have a kingdom, you got a circus. If you bring a clown into your castle, you don't have a kingdom, you got a circus.
I was really enjoying this situation. For me, that was like a triumph. For me, that was like a glorious moment that, like, hey, this is being recorded, this is being shared, your clown policies ain't taken away from my potential. And yeah, I don't think any clown policy of any kind of authority should be taken away from what? From your own potential. Whatever that means to you, whatever that is going to present itself as, I'm hoping it's going to benefit you, your friends, your family, and potentially the more the merrier, right? So that's what I'm saying. Never say that because somebody has a higher what? A higher status, a perceived status, and perceived power over you. And, you know, that shouldn't jeopardize your chances of enjoying and potentially creating the most out of all the situations that life presents you with. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening to this message, and if you only have time for this, boom, now you know. It has been a fascinating adventure for me, a learning experience, and a triumph that I felt like sharing with you. But it also did raise a couple of philosophical ideas, notions, and answers in my head that I wish to share. So if you have a couple more minutes left, you know, stick around maybe and listen to this one. So, the next story coming up is about the Cannes Film Festival that is happening currently this week. At the Cannes Film Festival, there is a multiple plenitude of movies being screened in plenty of theaters, movie theaters, and cinemas, and these screens are being used to convey messages for people in a certain medium. And what is the common agreed upon truth? That no one should be taking videos of the unreleased movies that are being screened at this special film festival. One of its kind, very unique. My friend from Scotland is currently there, enjoying every moment of it. And he's doing what? He's not making videos of the movies, but he could be. But if he were to do that, that would be what? Piracy. Piracy of the content that is being shown. So you don't take out your phone and start filming the silver screen. You don't take out your phone and start recording the conversations that are happening on this movie. So what do? You enjoy the moment, you embrace it, and you later make your own note of it. Make your own interpretation and share your own interpretation of this. And I'm like, I fully acknowledge that. I fully acknowledge that some people are like, please do not share. This is unreleased. And therefore, we ask you not to do what? Not to replicate and not to distribute these kind of things that we're about to tell you or show you. Because in our position, we believe that this is our property. And our property is meant to be, you know, utilized and shared in what? Through our own ways and through our own mediums. So I fully respect that. And at the same time, if you're not making me sign a non-disclosure agreement, I'm about to share everything. And if you're making me sign a non-disclosure agreement, pretty much when I'm 99 years old, I'm just gonna say, excuse me, I know that this non-disclosure agreement expired 10 years ago. I'm just gonna write a biography and write every story I know about this. This is happening real time, real life, right? So I'm just telling you all the stories. I'm just telling you all the events that is happening in the current moment so that I do not have to rely on my, memory that is about to be lost in a couple of years. I don't know how good my memory will serve you in the long run. I hope it's gonna work well, but I cannot, cannot necessarily bet on that it's gonna work to its finest decades in advance. So I do what? I take my own present moments and try to convey them in the video format that you're about to, or in the blog that you're about to go and read and enjoy and listen to and perhaps watch. So what do? My good friend from France, Akim, told me that I'm actually pirating life. And I thought that was very funny. How can you pirate life? My other good friend from Hungary is telling me that you are actually doing a fantastic broadcast of the good around you. And I'd like to think that that is actually what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, that is why I'm sharing this with you, because I believe it may bring a positive message to you on demand, on your time, whenever you want, whenever you're ready for it. And I think this could make your day a little bit more bright, a little bit more happy, right? So yeah. Now, broadcasting is pretty much a hard job. Well, people have to travel the distance. People have to go to a certain location to do what? To broadcast all the events, to broadcast all the interviews, to broadcast the potential great songs they hear, to broadcast the concerts, the Nobel Prize ceremonies happening. So right? Yeah, broadcasting is no easy job. I think I'm raising attention to the Nobel Prize because it has been created with the single purpose to serve the betterment, the greater good of humanity. It's a pretty compelling vision if you create a prize to serve the betterment and the greater good of humanity. I believe standing up in the face of authority with perceived power and with perceived status does serve the betterment and the greater good of humanity, because there will and have been certain situations and chance encounters with the bad that do not serve anyone. They do not serve the possibility for you to open the creative solutions, the creative solutions that we need for us to grow together as humankind. So, if need be, I think you should stand against authority, and if need be, you should stand alone. Should no one support you in your vision for what ought to be the greatest good for everyone, what ought to be the greatest good for yourself, then you should stand alone and face responsibility for your actions and for your commitment to the truth. And I think that is the story of good technology. So that power becomes and remains only a perception. Why? Because everyone should and will have the capacity and the capability for stand up for what's right, to create a poem that's meant to amaze, to create a message that's meant to bring good to the listeners, to create a standpoint, to create a perspective that is meant to make people think different. So if you can, please continue to create, continue to document, continue to write poems, to write formulas for us to, be puzzled by, for us to try to, rediscover and realize how good it is and how useful this may be. So if you can, please continue to be you and share your authentic experience that we long for, because it will be appreciated, and we do appreciate that. And should there be clown policies to make your day a little bit harder, then make note of them, accept them, and at the same time realize that there's always room to think different. There's always room to take a slingshot. And there's always room for us to maybe just do a little bit of magic. If it's part of our, repertoire of tools. Should we be magicians who are meant to amaze? Should we be illusionists that are meant to create, entertain, and show what the world needs? A little bit of amazement. Then I think we ought to do and, use our little tools and use our little repertoire of magic wands, because that's what we rely on if there are clown policies all around us. And at the same time, question things with respect. Question things in a way so you are not disrespectful to the people around you, but you are disrespectful for the potential policies and the philosophies that they may be holding, against you. And I think I should share my standpoint on this as well, which is that truth is something unique in a sense, that if you question the truth, it doesn't hurt the truth. If you question truth, it doesn't hurt it. And I think that is actually a good thing. Should you question the truth, it only makes it stronger. Why? Because you come to rebuild the foundation, or perhaps add to the foundation that is meant to create this unique truth. And should there be no foundation for the truth that you're presented with, then your questions ought to, tear down that perceived power and tear down that perceived status. That was just all a bubble making it float up in there, which was not helpful for everyone. And in our society, who's gonna actually convey, who's gonna actually present the truth? I think there are two good candidates, two types of candidates for us to rely on for presenting truth: representatives and minorities. I think, should you elect representatives, perhaps democratically elect these representatives to ensure that their, perception of the reality around you, that their perception of the challenges around you are valid, and these representatives are, perceiving their own mission and job to fulfill the creation of a solution for these challenges and, situations that you and the people around you, face, perhaps on a daily basis. Then these representatives are meant to be given the credit for being someone who's seeking to, uphold the truth and seeking to question what's not good. And the other group of people who I think are meant to be given a position where they can speak their truth, where they can uphold their own views and truths, are minorities. Why is that? Because from a minority position, you can observe certain events that are not happening to everyone, that are not happening potentially to the people around you, and yet at the same time, your potentially even invisible disability, potentially even unnoted background, may put you in a unique position where you perceive things and you have the capacity and the potential to know things in a way that no one has done in a way like that before. And it may serve others. Even if you're the only one, perhaps the only one in your city, perhaps the only one in your country, perhaps the only one in the world who perceives or knows the certain kind of view to be true, I think it is your obligation, regardless of what the people around you think or believe, to convey what you believe is true as a minority and seek the potentials, seek all of the mediums that you can share your message and vision through. Why? Because you yourself already have the power because of technology, because of the great people that have come before you that allowed you to express and amplify your voice for truth. So that is my standpoint, that I think representatives and minorities should both be given the chance to convey the truth that they ought to represent. And should multiple groups and people question them, then they should stand accused, stand tall, and stand accused, and say, here I am, and if need be, I stand alone, because that is my job. That is my job, to represent what I believe is true. So you may be wondering, where did I get all these ideas from? Well, I get all my great ideas from you, the people who watch these and actually choose to be brave enough to actually leave a public comment, potentially send me a private message. The people who actually engage with me and philosophies and standpoints and perspectives I choose to stand by. And the people like you inspire me. And that's where I get most of my ideas from talking to great friends, from talking to great people around me, whether they're close to me or in distant continents. It is my absolute joy to have this chance and use my chance to put forward the ideas that you have been given to me, that you have been talking about, and use my platform in the position that I'm in to actually stand up for what I believe is right. And I think technology is meant to be given back to the people in their hands so that they can do what? So that they can actually create meaningful things for the betterment of their collectives. So the last topic is about genius. And the question is, does the genius leave breadcrumbs behind? And I believe they do leave breadcrumbs behind. Not only that, a genius leaves a spaceship behind. I believe that a great creative genius explores the potential galaxies and the universe around them, and explores the realm of ideas around them, and potentially even goes beyond the unknown. Beyond the unknown to who? To the people who are not necessarily going on this journey with this person. The people who are not necessarily thinking like this genius. Therefore, he goes beyond the unknown. What is the unknown to this community that is not on the journey with the genius, and nevertheless, they support this person? That is what is unknown. What is unknown to this community that has raised the genius, that has supported the genius, may potentially be known one day for this genius. And once it becomes known for this genius, I believe they leave a spaceship behind for the community, for the people that have supported him, rediscover what the genius took home with him as the hero of our story, as the hero of our galaxy. And I believe the genius does leave a spaceship behind for who? For the people around who are curious enough to rediscover and potentially go even beyond the unknowns. And I cherish that opportunity that has been given to the genius around me to gift me with the spaceship that they often unintentionally leave behind for me, that they often unknowingly give me the keys for, and I'm thankful for all the fuel I got in my body that keeps me going and hopefully going beyond the unknown. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for writing and commenting below. I very much appreciate your time and I very much appreciate your talent. So keep doing what you're doing and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.
It's time to make a recognition for all the things you haven't done in your life. Well said, or pass on the good news. I will tell us how you feel. Or pass on the good news, brother, and keep it real. Yeah, go. Step by step, each and every day, I'm making it right. I'm there, spread the good up now. I'll keep it real tight now. I'll spread the good up now. Yeah, I'll keep it real tight, keep it real tight, keep it real tight right now. wow, 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 wow.
Thank you guys, fate sempre così, sì, è sto.